Hi everybody, this is the technology of scientific evolution. I am the special guest, the boys me. So
that's what you were doing just a few minutes ago that I took those pictures, right? And why are we still at dance?
Because my sister was in the bathroom with their dancing.
Okay.
We both dance.
So you're helping me out, right? Okay.
This is about the microscope. Glass bends light and but
you can tell that
microscope. Like if you look, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, if the sun is in front of a window, usually is, there could be a window on your floor from the sun going through the window.
Right. So people realize
glass bends light.
It does, and people realize this back in ancient times. So the forerunner of our microscope goes back to ancient times. Now Ptolemy, we learned that he
calculated the refractory constant of water.
Yes, we already learned about him in the geocentric theory, and he was a mathematician. So that was like he put a stick in
water and it whirled it around.
Right, he saw that it distorted things, right, and it could figure down to the angles of it. So that's science, right?
The stick is right there.
So we've all seen before how water can sort of make things look bigger or different. This summer, there's a tweet by Zendaya in the pool, and everyone was making fun of the way her feet looked, which isn't really nice to make fun of someone. No. But that's why it happens, right? Science. Okay.
Early means glass magnifiers.
Right.
Magnifiers.
They realized that if you hold something under glass, it made it bigger, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Like that.
Like that. Do you remember what the word lens comes from? It's a Latin word for what? What do they think the lenses were shaped like?
Circle, maybe?
Sort of like a circle. A bean. Like the beans. Yeah. Okay.
Like an oval circle kind of shape.
Yeah.
That also has like a curve, like a bit of a curve.
Yes.
The microscope. It
made things how much bigger?
It only made it about 6 to 10 sizes larger.
Right. Is that really a lot compared to today?
No. Today it's in the hundreds.
Or even more maybe.
Yeah.
So this is around 1600, which is during the scientific
revolution.
That's right. So why did they call it flea lenses back then?
Because they usually just used it on bugs, not really for science.
Right.
And they usually did it on fleas, so they called it the flea lens.
Yeah.
There's the flea.
Now, Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, what did he do?
He polished glass, and he realized that they can make microscopes zoom in a bit farther. Right.
How many times bigger do things get now?
270 times.
That's a lot more than 6 or to 10, right?
Yes. Yeah. In the hundreds.
So what is this? So what is that there? The picture of?
Leeuwenhoek's microscope.
Does that look like the microscope you use in school?
Nope, but it looks cool.
It does. So what are some of the things he would see with that?
He would see bacteria, yeast, blood cells, and organisms of water.
What did they think when they saw these little like tiny animals in water?
That I don't know.
Do they think they were surprised or excited, or
both?
Do you think it changed the way they thought about things? They never knew like that the water they drink or that they swim in had these little animals in it.
All those he just said.
Yeah, or used to clean their nose.
Luckily, they clean it now.
Yes.
Now this is the thermometer. In 1593, Galileo invented the water thermoscope, and in 1612, Santorio put a numerical scale on his thermoscope. Also invented wine gauge and water current meter.
Right. Do you remember what we called Santorio? Because he was he did so many different things.
Yeah.
He was a polymath or a Renaissance man, right?
So why just down there, like literally right down there, is like the first thermometer, but it didn't really work as a thermometer. It wasn't really that good.
No, it wasn't that good.
Not very accurate.
No. Do you think it's cool that he had 2 names in a row?
Yes.
Yeah, and he was from Venice. Yeah, that's in Italy now. Yeah, and Galileo was from there too.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he said about then? So since these weren't very accurate, how did they make thermometers and make them better? Like, remember what you said about thermometers?
They sort of made them like a oval, like a very long oval kind of shape.
Okay.
With like a big circle on the bottom. And they use like alcoholic liquid. So when the temperature rises, there would be more of the liquid in there to fill the thing up. But if it's low temperature, it would start going down, and there would be less liquid.
Yes, very good. So so that's where this thermometer comes in. So, like you mentioned, Fahrenheit's first thermometer was from alcohol, but then by 1714 he realized it worked a little bit better with mercury. Do you remember where Fahrenheit was from? What country he was from? Deutschland. What country is that? Begins with a G.
Germany.
There you go. So
I just guessed.
Right, and then 10 years later, he made the Fahrenheit scale.
Because his last name was Fahrenheit, or
Right.
name was Fahrenheit.
And that's when he figured out like what degree it freezes at and boils at. Do you remember what degree water freezes at in the Fahrenheit scale?
32.
Very good. And it was based on the idea that the human body was 100 degrees. It was based off the human body. Is the human body really 100 degrees? It's close, right? But not exactly. Now, we talked about other people that made temperature scales. What are some of the other ones?
Celsius.
Right. Andreas Celsius, right? He was a Swedish astronomer. So he studied things in the sky.
Showing Celsius right on the next slide.
Do we? I don't think we do.
I think we do, yeah.
But he developed that in 1742. And then we have Kelvin, of course, as well. So there we go. And there's others. French physicist Jean-Pierre Christian developed this scale almost like Celsius a few years later, but he had 0 degree, like his is a little bit different. Okay. Celsius died in 1744, so we never actually saw his scale being used, which is sort of a shame, huh?
Until now.
Yes. Then, do they make thermometers like the ones you use now right away? Now, first they were big, right? And the first time doctors can get one to take around was until about 1867. And it didn't look exactly like that, but that's the idea.
Yeah, because now there's like electrical ones.
Yeah, digital ones, yeah.
Yeah, like when it's done, it'll make a loud beeping noise. And it'll show just like digital numbers.
That's a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the telescope.
Oh, so talk about the history that you were telling me.
In 1609, Galileo starts looking up with a telescope because they used to be looking for enemy ships up in towers, but then Galileo, he looked up with them and he figured out that you can look at like stars and planets with them, and he even sketched like the moon that you can see just right there.
Yeah. So the other guys, Lippershey and Janssen, they were the ones that did the ones like you said they used like to look for ships and stuff. Yeah. And they developed it around the same time, around the same town, and they thought maybe one stole from the other, but they think they really did discover it independently.
Yeah.
Galileo's telescope could make things how many times bigger or closer?
20 times.
That's pretty cool, right? And then Kepler made his telescope around
1611.
Right, so a lot of people were working on this idea.
Yeah.
Now Kepler, we already talked about him in class because he discovered that planets don't orbit in circles, but you know what shape?
Oval.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay, so here's something with the telescope today. Yeah.
So these are pictures of like different galaxies and stuff like that, not the Milky Way. These are space telescopes that they launch up into space like rockets, but instead of coming back, they stay up there and they take like pictures of like the stars and galaxies and stuff.
Exactly. So that was taken by what is that telescope called?
The Hubble Space Telescope.
Right, and it was developed in what years?
1970s.
Right, by NASA and the European Space Agency.
Yeah.
But when was it launched? April of
launched in April
of
1990.
Yeah. That's the year your Aunt Gracie was born.
300 and it was to orbit 350 miles above Earth.
That's pretty far, huh?
The one that's not all colorful kind of looks like a galaxy from Star Wars.
Hey, how many miles above the Earth is the International Space Station?
250.
Right, so that's even further, right?
No.
300. That says it's 350 miles.
250.
Right, but so this is further than the ISS, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
Yeah, because right.
I think
350
you meant the ISS was farther.
No. Okay, so last one.
This
Talk
is
about
the
this
last one. The James Webb Telescope that is gonna launch in 2021.
Right, March of
Still
2021. Good.
2 years. This is supposed to see like back in time, like a time machine. They are wearing those white suits. Like that's them booting it. Not the one with the truck. The other one. That's called a clean room, and they wear those suits to not let any like germs get on it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that has the truck is them transporting it to another place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where. And like when they launch it up, when it reaches space as far as it's supposed to go, it'll open up like all the mirror thingies, and it'll see back in time.
There we go. Isn't that cool?
Yes, like a time machine.
Tell them what do you know about who's the head of the James Webb Telescope?
Miss Valerie's brother, and Miss Valerie is the head of the dance place.
And her brother's like the head of this operation, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? I think that's the end of the video. You want to say bye to class?
Bye.
Do you want to do another one someday?
Yes.
Do you want to make their questions?
Yes.
Okay. Oops. Say bye again.
Bye.
Oops. Let's move over for the girls.